said, there are some things that we've even had to cut back on, you know, and they will pinch mwananchi. For example, capitation to schools, and the fact that we now have to pay for examination fees and that sort of thing. These are things that are really going to hit hard at mwananchi, and you can't put too much of a burden on mwananchi, because at the end of the day, it results in what we had last year. So what happens? Last year, you remember last year's budget had a deficit of about 900 billion shillings, thereabout. Yeah. And the proposal was to actually reduce that deficit through aggressive taxation, so that the borrowing then would be limited to about 400 or 500 billion shillings. But what happened when we instituted that aggressive tax regime? It didn't go down well with citizens, and we had what we had in June last year, the events that culminated in the infamous June 25th storming of Parliament last year. So that's what the government seeks to avoid at the moment. Unfortunately, it means that that deficit, whatever it is, because we are running a very tight budget, everything is expedient, everything is necessary, that difference of about 916 billion shillings thereabout has to be borrowed. It's unfortunate reality. It's either you have your...
What does it say about our expenditure plans? What does it say about our lifestyle? Because, and I want to address you now specifically as Leonard, if every year you are learning a deficit in your lifestyle, what is it talking about? Are you going to be sustainable in the future?
It just means we live beyond our means at some point in the future. And as I've said before, the elephant in the room is public debt. A lot of revenue that is being collected is going towards debt service. I mean, this year we are talking of 1.1 trillion shillings. That's a huge amount of money. When you look at it in terms of debt, the ratio of debt to GDP, we are way above the recommended threshold, which should be about 60% for developing countries like Kenya. We are at about 67, 68, 69%.
Yeah. You know, developing countries, the debt ceiling should be about 55% of their GDP.
Yes, they keep adjusting. It should be now 55%, as you rightly put it. And we are headed towards the 70s. You are just shy of 70% of GDP. That means we are deeply indebted as a nation. Now, what debt is? Debt basically, let me redefine debt. Debt is basically tax in advance. If we take up debt today, it means we will pay for it using tax revenues in future. So debt that was taken in past times by past administrations are what we are paying right now. So we don't have much of a choice. The best that we can do is to figure out a way of doing away with short-term expensive debt, which was taken in past times, replacing it perhaps with a longer tenor, a cheaper debt, buying us some relief in some place, and then making our adjustments even as a country in terms of our spending, in terms of our priorities, in terms of what we need to do to get ahead. So that's the conversation now.